Roll. All right, looks like we're good. All right, folks, so what we're gonna do is go step by step. I wanna walk everyone through the exact video distribution checklist. And this isn't just for video. This would be like literally use this for all of your content, whether you're doing images, your listings, your case studies, whatever. So let's first define the different types of videos that we can actually be creating on the go or on the fly. And if you really think about it, it's any of the above. Like literally just listed, just sold, case studies, community events, real estate content, neighborhood videos, small business interviews. It's anything that's hyper local that reminds people you're in real estate. Now, we just got back from the Lab Code Agent event, and the main theme of the event was a lot of this. It was how do you build your brand? How do you generate attention around it? So what we're talking about is using video to consistently create content with, all right? And there's a lot of goals that go with it. It's not just a single goal. And I will say that I'm not after lead generation. I am after brand, and I am after attraction. But you need to build that presence first. So the very first thing why we create content is to build your personal brand. You know, if you think about it, every single time someone sees one of your videos, you're reminding them what you do for a living. And the truth is that 10 to 15% of the people that see your content are moving this year, and most of them don't even know it. At the same time, 100% of those people know someone they can refer you to. Anything on video is building your authority or expertise, period. Like you do not, if I started creating videos on cooking, I'm not a chef, but you would think I'm one. So that's really all this is, folks. In other words, when you start creating a lot of content, it forces us to create more conversations with people we have not otherwise met. The goal here is creating a human connection with your audience, period. And this is the formula. It's very simple. Content creates conversations. Conversations lead to trust. Trust leads to you getting paid, all right? Now, I want you guys to think long-term, though, not necessarily short-term. Every bit of video that you create will long live on your YouTube channel, your website, wherever you're multi-purposing any of this video content. So you got to look at this as playing the long game. We'll get into your website and what to do with it. But yes, your website and your videos should absolutely go out there. All I want you guys to do is think about content creation as a series of marketing pieces that you can repurpose down the road and use it over and over and over again. So creating the videos is half the battle, but distributing is the other half. And let's get right on into it. So I'm going to give you the distribution process directly in order. So if you're taking notes, just go ahead and write this down. It would be step number 1 is upload the video to YouTube. Now, why we're going to do this is because we want to slowly build your library of content. If you look on the example right here, those are 4 videos we've done. All of them rank for San Diego Spanish-speaking agent, a real estate agent, a realtor, somewhere along those terms. Now, when you're uploading videos to YouTube, you always want to do it with the end goal in mind. And if your content can't get found, then what the hell's the point of uploading them? So let me give you a couple examples from my own business and how I would use this type of content that I was creating over time. So you go to YouTube, you can hit Chicago Best Neighborhoods. A couple of our videos will pop up right there, right on that page 1. And in this case, we were keywording this to rank under Best Chicago Neighborhoods because relocations were moving in and searching that type of content. So what I'm saying is that when you get videos created, you want to multi-purpose them and upload into YouTube so that they can get found. But how you upload them into YouTube is all the difference. Now, let me give you another example. Westtown Condos for Sale. This is a neighborhood we used to work a lot in when I was still selling in Chicago. And you can see I have 3 of the top 4 videos right there, just on natural. This is organic search. So how I would use this content is like when I go on a listing presentation, I'm like, look, I don't search on YouTube. This guy don't have anything on me. Actually, all those, Luke's my partner, so that's another video he did. So we have all 4 of those. But content creation always wants to be multi-purpose because I could use it for conversion down the road. I mean, anytime you type in Westtown Condos for Sale, I wanted to make sure our stuff popped out. Now, if I was creating real estate content, I just did a search. Again, I have not been in Chicago for 2 years, and I just searched Chicago closing costs this morning, and I had 2 videos rank in the very top, I think that was the top 7 posts that came up. Chicago closing costs was my #1 lead source as a video. But you can't always count on like every video isn't going to like make you thousands of dollars. Like you have to be prepared to fail. And that's part of what this process is. So keywords everywhere is a tool that I use because how you do this is that when you're uploading your video, you want to do a little bit of research first. It's going to be a little bit more of, it'll take you a couple minutes and it's highly, highly recommended. So how I'm going to optimize this video, which I would show you, I first need to do what we call the keyword research. So this tool is a Google extension or Chrome extension tool, but there's a lot of keyword tools. There's Keyword Planner on Google, SEMrush if you want a paid version. There's a ton of ways to research what to optimize your videos in. But if you look at this little chart right here, it pretty much tells me what I need it to. It tells me how many people are searching per month. Tells me what the competition's like. So I want low competition and I want high search volume. And that's how I determine what I'm going to go ahead and create content on. All right, now this is the key to optimizing your videos. It did used to be easier, but it's not difficult. Everyone always asks us, how do you get your videos to rank right away? Well, this is how. So I take the keyword that I'm trying to rank for, I put it right here in the title, and then I embed it throughout the post. I take about 40 or 50% of the blog post that I write with every video. We'll get to that next. And I just sprinkle it throughout the post. Previously, we weren't even really using the tags and we were still ranking. But now I do recommend to go ahead and use the tags. There's a lot more content being created on video and it's getting more competitive, although it's really not that quite yet. So optimizing your video, imagine doing this for every single one of your videos. For agents that commit to doing 2 a month or 3 a month, if you look at forecast 10, 12 months down the line, how much content do you have that represents your brand? Are you an expert or are you not? And that's what, when you want to multi-purpose your content on YouTube. So that would be step one. Step two is going to be every time you do a video, we highly, 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 highly recommend putting it on your website. So here's the very first question I have for you. Would you trust you just visiting your website? And I want you guys to think about how you actually book your vacations and how you actually make a buying or purchasing decision. And you know that you looked at all the Travelocity reviews before you pressed the buy now button on that trip to Cancun you were planning for the last 3 months. And it's no differently than a real estate agent. So I want you to pretend you're not you and step on the outside and go to someone else's shoes. And I want you to go ahead and log onto your website right now. And I want to see what you think about it. Would you trust you? Do you have content on your website? Do you have a website? One of the number 3 most visited page on someone's website is your about page. And what does that tell you? It tells you that people want to know who you are before they decide to call you. People want to know if you are, people want to know if they can picture themselves sitting in a car with you for the next 2 months while you're making the biggest financial investment. So the reason why I like a video on every page of the website is for a lot of reasons, but ultimately it's to connect. And you guys know this as much as I do, is that people work with people they relate to, that they know, like, trust. So every time you do a video, you highly, highly recommend multi-purpose it on your website. So for example, how we would do this is we would take a video, we'd put it, embed it at top of the website, and then write a blog post on it. And there's 2 ways you can actually go about if you're doing this. Option number 1 is you can use a service called rev.com, and rev.com will actually transcribe the video and all the words, and you could just put that directly below the blog post. Now, the reason why I want to write content on my site is 1, for brand, but 2, I'm going to optimize that content on my site the same way I optimize it on YouTube, a term that we all sort of know and heard of, but no one really knows what it means. It's SEO. So again, I'm multi-purposing in all different ways at all different times. So extremely, extremely important. Now, what other types of things can you build on the website with the videos you create? And I want to give you guys some real life examples. So let me go ahead and play this video. This is just a screenshot, but here's an agent in Minnesota where he's got a whole freaking training course on his website to buying and selling real estate. And why that's so important is just because, 1, people have to relate to you, but 2, they also have to trust that you know what you're doing. I'm sorry, but the agent that has about 10 to 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 pieces of content on their site, I mean, don't you perceive them to be more of an expert than the one who doesn't? And again, perception is everything. So I want you to think about those of you that are running these Facebook ads, or you're running YouTube ads, whatever thing you're doing to run traffic, if you're buying leads or not, the leads that you're buying are checking out your site and the rest of the content on it. And if all of it is clickbait and none of it's human nature, none of it's educational, I just think you could do better on conversion with this. So just something you want to think about. If you're going to create real estate related content, create an educational series, because that's what we do. We're educators. We're home problem solvers. So you want to go ahead and do that. We had a lot of success with this as well. This is my old site, and my site never had IDX on it as well. But if you know, there's a bunch of different questions that seem to always be recurring with real estate agents. One of those was how to buy and sell at the same time. One of those was, hey, my house didn't sell. So literally, I knew the questions that people would always ask and how I would use it. In this case, this is a for sale by owner course on our site. And we basically created content on our website that when I ran into a for sale by owner, I would say, hey, guess what? I don't want to sell your house. I want to show you how to do my job without me. And if you do, congratulations, you sold it. I can still help you with the purchase. However, if you don't, here's how you do it. And all I'm asking for is a shot to take the listing when you do fall on your face and you fail, because I know 82% of you are going to do that. So imagine marketing your business to for sale by owners, but you need content to build your own authority. All right, so when you have this content, my point is, guys, that it is 100% timeless on your site. And the more content you have, the bigger the brand, the more authority, the more expertise you are you perceived in the eyes of the consumer. And notice where I'm going with this. Everything is consumer driven. We're not talking about creating content that, is, hey, I've been in the business for 25 years and me. Nobody cares about that. It's all about them. So consumer facing content that allows them to get the answers to the questions they have. So let's give you another example. Let's say an agent was going ahead and doing a video series. In this case, this is Denise over in San Diego, and she's doing the Ask Mama video series where she goes around town and does business owner interviews, neighborhood tours, points of interest of kid-friendly content, because her target audience is all parents, and that's what her brand is. So Ask Mama is Denise's excuse to stay in front of her database, stay in front of her local community, and meet new relationships. But again, everything is hosted up on her site as a way to multi-purpose that content. One of the best things that I would recommend doing, again, this is a theme at Lab Code Agents this week, and just listed, just sold. Do you really know what you're saying to your audience when you do that? You're saying, I made a bunch of money this week. You did it. You're also making your client feel like a piece of meat because they're on the end of a closing. All right, it makes me cringe when I see that. But what if you were to start creating case studies out of the content that you're already creating? And I'm not talking about posting a just listed, a just sold. I'm talking about saying this 49-year-old couple just sold their house for $50,000 over asking price at the open house the first 7 days. Here's how. All right, we're talking about storytelling. And all we're doing is mimicking that of HGTV. And there's a huge opportunity to turn every single one of your closings into case studies. Put those case studies on the site so people can relate through story how it is to working with your brand. And that's the key here, folks. Market the story, not the sale. Which one are you going to click on? If you see this on Facebook and you're a consumer, the one that says just sold, or the one that has a case study of the homeowner that sold their house in 3 days for 4% over list price with multiple offers at an open house? What? Here's how. Start telling the story and multi-purposing that story on your site, your YouTube channel, and creating content around it. Step number 3, video email your content to your database. This is a screenshot from my inbox this morning. What most agents do is set up some sort of kind of automated text or automated email type system that has boring shit like this. Interest rates at a 20-month low. What are you waiting for? Real estate news. I don't care. All of this in my inbox is junk mail. Now, what I did open up was Great Places to Vacation this July by Vacations Rental, or VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner. That's more interesting. What we see is that when you start creating the hyper-local community content your network actually cares about, it's going to get more eyeballs. And what we're really fighting for here, folks, is attention, not lead generation. So being everywhere sort of all the time is exactly what the goal is. You can't build a brand without consistent communication to the same audience over time. And that's what we're really talking about here. So look at the subject lines. Is this what you're putting out, right? Instead of sending more turn back the clock emails, what I'm saying is start sending places in your area that people would be really excited to learn about, because as a real estate agent, it is your job to know the local communities, right? Now, let me show you an example of Eric Eby in Northwest Arkansas. I'm on Eric's email list, so I keep all this stuff, but look at the subject lines he's using. Are these really real estate related? Or are they more like, hey, this is all about you. Did you see this place yet? My favorite one was throwing axes and drinking beer. I'm going to resonate with that, but that's a lot better than, hey, turn back the clock. Because again, folks, we're not fighting for lead generation, we're fighting for attention. and I want to see the newest axe throwing place in my area because I might go there with my friends. It is okay to be different. It's actually encouraged. Think about how many agents are in your marketplace right now. And if you're doing what everyone else is doing, what's making you stand out? In this example, what's making him stand out is video email versus regular email, video, period, and different subject lines. That's 3 different ways that as a real estate agent, Eric is able to stand out from his competitors. Now, BombBomb reported a few years ago that the national average for open rates on video on any email is 13%, which means what? 87% of our peeps, our audience, our database, they're not seeing our stuff. So then what the hell's the point of sending the email in the first place? With video email, we're seeing consistently over a 40% open rate. Now, half of that is the video itself, half of it is the subject line. But it's important to remember that we're not trying to lead generate. Especially when we're marketing our database. I'm not trying to send my database to a squeeze page. I'm trying to make sure they don't forget I exist. So when we're trying to stay relevant through consistent content creation, we're using video to nurture database, and that's how it works. So let's go on step number 4. Number 4 is all about distributing on all of your social media platforms. This is the number one thing I see with agents, is that we all want to press the easy button, trust me. But I also want you to get the most out of your videos. I want you to get the most amount of extension, get the most amount of reach and or whatnot. So distribute them on all of your social media platforms, because the people that you're connected with are just extensions of your database. I look at Facebook as nothing more than an extension of my database, and I treat every platform independently because different people consume content in different ways. So if you want to be everywhere all the time, do not share from your business page to your personal page, especially with video. Upload it organically. In this case, we have Regina here. She's going to upload organically on her personal page, all right? So let's talk really quickly about personal versus business page. Your database, your network's going to hang out on your personal page 9 times out of 10. We're real estate agents. We're not that cool. People aren't going to follow us and be like, oh, dude, I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. And they're not following our business pages. However, post on your personal, post on your business. But we still need business because you can run ads to your SOI, and I'll get to that in a little bit. You can run ads to your digital farm, right? But the point is that as you create these different videos, don't share your YouTube link on Facebook. Upload each video independently and organically. When we were using some like third-party posting tools to try to save some time, our engagement, we saw it go down a little bit. So that's why we stopped doing that. I'm not sure if that's changed since then. We haven't tried to go back with it, but I do know that we just see more reach independently uploading these videos. So do it with your business, do it with your personal page on Facebook, and then also do it with Instagram and IGTV as well. It's super duper important to put your content there. Remember, people are on different platforms, and I want you to think about this. 10 to 15% of the people that you're connected with on any of your social media platforms are moving this year. 100% of them know someone who's moving. So when we're talking about attention, and we're talking about generating consistent attention through media creation that represents your brand, all we're doing is subtly reminding people with the jabs. Jab, I'm still here, don't forget I exist. Don't forget I exist, don't forget I exist. And that is the whole purpose of creating content consistently and building a brand. Step number 5, we are going to go ahead and run ads. We could spend a whole webinar on this. I'm sure we'll be doing something with you guys soon, but what kind of ads are we going to run, right? So what we're going to do is we could target our database, we could target our digital farm, we could target lead generation if we're creating real estate content. On YouTube, you could target channels with placements, you could do keywords. There's a lot to do, and everybody's message and strategy is going to be a little bit different based upon what that brand is. But you could start running ads to the videos you're creating to create more awareness and business for yourself. It's usually the last step we do, but it is extremely important to go ahead and do that. What I want you guys to get out of this webinar, and I'm going to try to keep this under 30 minutes, is that your content is your excuse to market your database and attract people just like you. The key is not making it boring. We're not talking about creating videos that are all about you and how many, the local market stat update that nobody cares about. We're talking about creating videos that relate to people, represent your brand, and meet them in the conversation. So if I'm to chart this out, I wanted to walk you through sort of how this works. You create content to build awareness and audience, period. The bigger the audience, the more people you have to advertise to. So for example, if I was going to create a piece of content that says how to sell your house during a nasty divorce, well, I'm going to put that content right in front of people that are getting divorced on Facebook. I would target relationship status on that case. And I would tell the story about how somebody totally like went through the situation. If you're going through a divorce, even better. Like literally do this tomorrow. Tell your story and people will relate to it. Now that content that I'm going out there and I'm dripping up on people is I'm using my first layer of content to go out and go fishing. And what it does is the people who click, engage and all that, it sets up a retargeting audience for me. People who are engaging on my stuff, especially real estate content, are probably more likely to be interested in moving or selling in this case than those who do not. I'm able to create a retargeting audience out of those people and put my advertisements now in front of them. This is the concept there is to building an audience, whether it's your database or whether it is your local farm or your digital farm. The biggest audience wins. And I want you guys to think about this as well. I want you to think about the people and the agents in your local market who you either look up to or despise. It's either one or the other. And I already know what you're thinking because you're probably like, this guy or gal's the top agent in my market? What? I could do better than them. And if you can relate to that, you should understand, you should totally relate to this. They just have more audience than you, 9 times out of 10. They're more popular than you. Doesn't make them more smarter than you are. They just hustled more than you have. Or maybe you're newer in the business. But the point is that they just know more people. That's what it comes down to. Most top producers work around the same way. And what I want to do is end with this. And if there's any questions, we'll answer those now. But this is all about consistency, right? You want to build your brand with video and distribute it consistently. You don't just do one video. You consistently create this content over time, and that's as your brand builds. So let's go through and give you guys a visual of sort of how you could sort of, envision this and see what you would, you could relate to it. Now, let's say that I'm doing 2 business interviews a month, all right? And that's my strategy. I want to do 2 business interviews per month. Great. Well, I'm going to space out those business interviews strategically on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of each month. So let me show you what I'm going to do with each of those. So every time I post a new video, it goes to my YouTube channel. Blog post goes on my website. I video email it to my database. I post it on all my social media platforms, and I run ads for about 7 days. And it's going to carry me all the way back through here. I'm going to take a little bit break, and boom, I'm back with another episode. When you start generating the attention around your brand, my goal on this is to be the number or the only person that they think of when the term real estate is brought to mind. That is my goal for building the brand. And the more content I create around it, the more likely that's going to happen. And that is honestly my only goal with creating a lot of this content. I like multi-purposing the content for additional lead generation. So let's just say I was creating a lot of different styles of content. You have business interviews the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays of each month. Then you start a neighborhood series. Maybe you have a team and you and your agents go out and do a pub crawl. That's what we used to do. And we would have a lot of fun, and we do 1 a month. Great, that piece of media is coming out that Friday. Then you have some holidays. You had Father's Day that just came up. How many of you wished all the dads in your life a happy Father's Day? Just put your real estate sign in the background or something. What about listing videos and other opportunities that you may see pop up with that? If you look at this calendar, folks, it's really not that hard to build a brand. The only difference is that you just have to do it and take action. That's really what this comes down to, because think about it. The agent who does a series of 24, 30, 40, whatever videos per month versus the one who doesn't do any content creation at all, who's more top of mind? Who's going to have a bigger presence and brand? And hopefully that is just, it answers itself. So I just want to share with you guys today, keep this under 30 minutes. And it looks like we did that right on the dot. And if you guys have any additional questions and you'd like to receive any more information, feel free to follow us or check us on my website. That is realestatemarketingdude.com, realestatemarketingdude.com. And we'll be happy to answer any questions. There's a webinar that shows you how to create a content strategy. There's an ebook you can download. It's all right there on our site. We appreciate your time. Follow this checklist and don't overthink it. It's a checklist. Every bit of content you have, even if it's not video, follow this checklist, and I want to see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope that you got some value out of this, and we will see you later.